Creatine after 50 is doing something to your body that has nothing to do with muscle, and most men find out too late. If you are over 50 and either taking creatine or thinking about it, do not skip this video because what I am about to reveal is something your doctor has never brought up, your trainer does not know about, and the supplement industry is completely silent on. This is not about bloating. This is not about water retention. This is something far more serious and far more powerful. And by the end of this video, you will never look at creatine the same way again. The invisible war happening inside your muscles right now. Let me paint a picture for you. Right now, as you are sitting there watching this video, your body is in a fight, and it is losing. After the age of 30, you start losing roughly 3 to 8% of your muscle mass per decade. That sounds manageable, right? Well, after 50, that rate doubles. Some studies published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle in 2023 found that men between 50 and 70 can lose muscle at nearly twice the speed they did in their 40s. Your body is literally cannibalizing itself. Pleasant thought, is it not? This condition has a name. It is called sarcopenia, and it is not just about looking less impressive at the beach. Sarcopenia is directly linked to falls, fractures, loss of independence, metabolic disease, and frankly, earlier death. A landmark study out of the University of Michigan in 2022 found that low muscle mass in adults over 50 was associated with a 50% greater risk of mortality from all causes. 50%. That is not a typo. Now here is where it gets interesting, and this is something most people have never heard. Your muscles are not just engines for movement. They are actually endocrine organs. Yes, your skeletal muscles release chemical messengers called myokines. These myokines regulate inflammation, support immune function, improve insulin sensitivity, and even communicate directly with your brain. So when you lose muscle, you are not just getting weaker. You are losing an entire communication system inside your body. It is like ripping the phone lines out of your house and wondering why nobody calls anymore. And this is exactly where creatine enters the conversation, but not in the way you think. See, most people assume creatine is just for young guys who want to bench press a small car. That is an outdated, almost embarrassing misunderstanding of what this molecule actually does. Creatine is one of the most researched supplements in human history. We are talking over 700 peer-reviewed studies. 700. That is more research than most pharmaceutical drugs get before they are prescribed to millions of people. But there is one particular thing creatine does after age 50 that researchers are only now beginning to fully appreciate. And no, it is not just about building muscle. Stay with me because this gets wild. What creatine is secretly doing to your brain after 50. Now I know what you were thinking. Brain? I thought we were talking about muscles. And that right there is exactly why most men over 50 are completely uninformed about what creatine can actually do for them. Here is a fact that will make you sit up straight. Your brain uses approximately 20% of your total daily energy. 20%. This 3-pound organ sitting in your skull is the single most energy-hungry organ in your entire body. And what does it use to rapidly regenerate its primary energy currency, adenosine triphosphate? Creatine. Your brain runs on creatine the same way your muscles do. Now here is the part that should genuinely concern you. After age 50, your brain's natural creatine levels begin to decline. A study published in Neurobiology of Aging showed that cerebral creatine concentrations drop measurably as we age, and this decline correlates with reduced cognitive processing speed, working memory deficits, and increased mental fatigue. In other words, that feeling of walking into a room and forgetting why you are there, that might not just be a funny quirk of getting older. It might be an energy crisis inside your brain. And this is where researchers at the University of Sydney did something fascinating in 2022. They took a group of older adults and gave them creatine supplementation at just 5 grams per day. Just 5 grams. That is 1 teaspoon. What they found was remarkable. Participants showed significant improvements in short-term memory recall and cognitive processing tasks, particularly under conditions of stress and sleep deprivation. The study suggested that creatine acts as a cognitive energy buffer, essentially keeping your brain from running on empty when it is under pressure. But wait, it gets even more interesting. A 2023 review published in Experimental Gerontology compiled data from multiple randomized controlled trials and concluded that creatine supplementation in adults over 50 improved not just cognitive function, but also what scientists call executive function. That is your ability to plan, make decisions, resist impulses, and switch between tasks. Basically, everything you need to run your life, your business, and your relationships without losing your mind. Now let me throw one more piece of information at you that almost nobody knows. Your brain has its own creatine synthesis pathway, separate from the rest of your body. It produces creatine locally through an enzyme called guanidinoacetate N-methyltransferase, also known as GMT. And here's the kicker. The activity of this enzyme decreases with age. So not only is your brain demanding enormous amounts of energy, its own internal creatine factory is slowing down production. You are running a power plant with a shrinking fuel supply. This is why supplementing creatine after 50 is not a luxury. It is, many researchers now argue, a neurological necessity. But hold on. I have not told you about the unexpected side effect yet. And I promise you, it is not what you think it is. It connects your muscles, your brain, and something else entirely that nobody is discussing. We are getting there. Do not leave now because the next section is going to tie everything together in a way that might genuinely shock you. And remember, the creatine I personally use every single day is linked right down in the description. I have tried many brands over the years, and this is the one I settled on. Go check it out. The hidden connection between creatine and your bones that science just discovered. All right, stay with me because this is where things take a turn that nobody saw coming. We all know about osteoporosis. We associate it mostly with women, and that is one of the most dangerous assumptions in men's health today. Men over 50 account for up to 30% of all hip fractures worldwide, and the mortality rate for men who suffer a hip fracture after 60 is nearly double that of women. A study from the Archives of Osteoporosis in 2021 revealed that 1 in 4 men over 50 will experience an osteoporotic fracture in their remaining lifetime. 1 in 4. And most of those men never saw it coming because nobody told them their bones were thinning. Now here is where the story gets fascinating. For decades, we thought creatine's benefits stopped at the muscle cell membrane. Muscles use it, end of story. But in 2023, a groundbreaking study from the University of Saskatchewan, which has been running long-term creatine research for over a decade, published findings that creatine supplementation combined with resistance training in postmenopausal women and aging men actually influence markers of bone remodeling. Specifically, they found changes in levels of a molecule called receptor activator of nuclear factor kappa B ligand, commonly referred to as RNKL. This molecule controls osteoclast activity. Osteoclasts are the cells that break down bone tissue. When RNKL activity is high, your bones are being dissolved faster than they are being rebuilt. Creatine appeared to favorably influence this balance. Now I want to be very clear. This research is still evolving. We are not at the point where any doctor is going to prescribe creatine as a bone treatment. But the fact that a 5-gram daily supplement is showing even preliminary effects on bone metabolism in aging adults is, frankly, extraordinary. We are talking about a supplement that costs less than a daily cup of coffee, potentially influencing muscle preservation, brain function, and now bone integrity. All 3 of the systems that determine whether your later years are spent living actively or sitting in a chair watching life pass by. And there is one more study I need to tell you about. Researchers in Brazil published a 2023 paper in the journal Nutrients that examined creatine's effect on something called osteocalcin. Osteocalcin is a protein released by bone-building cells, and it does something incredible. It travels through your bloodstream and improves insulin sensitivity and testosterone production. Yes, you heard that correctly. Your bones communicate with your endocrine system, and creatine may be supporting that entire conversation. But we still have not arrived at the unexpected side effect, and I am about to reveal it. Everything I have told you so far, the muscles, the brain, the bones, it all leads to this one thing. And when you hear it, you will understand why I structured this video the way I did. The unexpected side effect that changes everything after 50. All right, you have been patient. You have stayed with me through the muscle loss, the brain energy crisis, and the bone connection. Now let me tell you the unexpected side effect of creatine after age 50 that almost no one is talking about. It is this. Creatine may significantly reduce your risk of depression. I am not being hyperbolic. In 2023, A massive observational study published in the journal Translational Psychiatry analyzed data from over 22,000 adults and found that dietary creatine intake was associated with significantly lower rates of depression, and the effect was most pronounced in adults over the age of 50. The researchers controlled for diet, exercise, socioeconomic status, and pre-existing conditions. The correlation held. Now, why would this be the case? Think about everything we have discussed. After 50, your muscles are shrinking, which reduces myokine production, which increases systemic inflammation. Your brain is running low on creatine, which impairs energy production in regions responsible for mood regulation, particularly the prefrontal cortex. Your bones may be thinning, which reduces osteocalcin, which impairs hormonal balance. Every single one of these pathways connects to your mental health. Creatine does not just sit in your biceps waiting for you to lift something heavy. It is operating across multiple organ systems simultaneously, and when those systems are supported, the downstream effect is that your brain has the biochemical environment it needs to maintain emotional stability. Depression after 50 is not just sadness. It is a leading cause of disability worldwide in older adults. It increases the risk of cardiovascular disease, accelerates cognitive decline, and profoundly impacts quality of life. And yet, here is a molecule that costs pennies per day, has an exceptional safety profile across hundreds of clinical trials, and is now showing associations with lower depression rates in exactly the population that needs it most. That is the unexpected side effect. Creatine is not just keeping your body strong after 50. It may be keeping your mind from going dark. Now let me be responsible here. Creatine is not a replacement for therapy. It is not a replacement for medication if you need it. But as part of a comprehensive approach to aging well, the evidence is becoming very difficult to ignore. So here's what I want you to do right now. First, go check out the creatine I personally use. It is linked in the description below. I have done the research, I have tried the brands, and that is the one I stand behind. Second, if you are a man over 50 and you want my free 30-day workout plan that is designed specifically for your body, your joints, your recovery needs, and your goals at this stage of life, drop the word active in the comments right now. I will make sure you get it because your health matters to me. This is not just content. This is a mission. And third, if this video taught you something you did not know, share it with a friend who is over 50. Because chances are, nobody has told them any of this either. I will see you in the next one. Stay strong, stay sharp, and stay active.